Hi guys, and welcome back for this week's Wake Up CX. So this week I asked you to think about how your privacy and your security of both yourself as a consumer and how you think about this in terms of your customers as well. Now, the reason why this topic is front of mind for me right now is because in the UK, we're in the process of passing a bill through, which will eventually become law, or will likely become law, and that's called the Online Safety Bill. Now, this is a 260-page plus document detailing the security and that sort of thought between the security and the privacy of consumers, and how do we deal with them when it comes to being online. Now, there's so much in this bill that it's not possible for me to run through it all in one call, but I want us to think about what is likely going to be the biggest and most noticeable impact for us as consumers. And that is likely to be that WhatsApp will cease to operate within the UK. Now, WhatsApp offers its user base what's called end-to-end encryption. So from the moment you send a message, it's encrypted, and the only time it's able to be, unscrambled and understood is when it's received by the recipient. And no one in between can monitor what this communication is. Now, when we're talking about our privacy, this is something that consumers may desire. You want your messaging to go to the recipient and have nobody in the middle be able to listen in on what you're saying, what you're discussing. It's private. You run no risk of having your information leaked. We see a lot of information getting leaked across the media and things. So that completely removes the obstacle, and WhatsApp is an amazing tool for this. However, at the same time, WhatsApp poses a risk to us and the general public. If we think on what types of information can be transferred with no record or no interception whatsoever, this can be messages to coordinate a terrorist attack. This could be, any illegal content whatsoever. And there's no oversight. There's no ability for someone such as Ofcom to step in here and say, let's monitor the communications that are getting sent on your platform. And as it stands, WhatsApp is completely immune to any data being sent. They're not held responsible for it. They provide this end-to-end platform, and the consumers choose to use it. But they can't regulate it. And they can't allow a regulatory body to come in and have oversight over it. Now, if the Online Safety Bill passes, now this bill's currently with our House of Lords, and it's due to be spoke about later this month, around the 22nd, I think it is. And then it would go through another review stage before going for royal assent. Now, if that happens and this law becomes a thing, WhatsApp will be forced to remove end-to-end encryption if they wish to operate in the UK. This would allow our regulatory body, such as Ofcom, to be able to monitor these messages and to spot check them. And it basically gives them the ability to say, I want a batch of these records from this date to this date, I want all of them, and then, they would have to comply. They can't refuse to comply with these orders because it would be law. So the WhatsApp's CEOs have made the decision that if this law passes, rather than modify the integrity of their platform, they will instead cease to operate within the UK, which will affect millions of consumers. I've got WhatsApp. I don't use it very much, but I do have it, and it's a convenient platform. Now, it got me to thinking a little bit about this, and why do I use WhatsApp, and what is it for? Now, to me, it's just a messaging platform. I don't use it for anything special. I don't really share confidential information across it, so the privacy is not that important to me. Sure, I would like to imagine that the content I send out on the internet is only being read by the recipients that I intend. And I can imagine if I was conducting private conversations on this platform, that I would like them to be secure. But then, at the same time, I also trust that a regulatory body such as the Ofcom would only interfere if it was necessary. and that they have no interest in the inner workings of my conversations with other people. So it's that compromise, isn't it? Like, where do we allow privacy to sort of go to the wayside a little bit in exchange for safety? And it's a personal decision for everyone to make and how you feel about things. I think it'll also be a generational thing. In that the more modern the generation, the more acceptable they are of, things being encrypted and secure. You might like to think that the older generations are more focused on having this privacy and this lockdown of data. But in actuality, we tend to be more trusting of authorities to view our data. So yes, we don't want a breach of our personal data, but we tend to trust that regulatory bodies are needed to have a proper look and provide some oversight to keep these big corporations in line and make sure that everything's going smoothly. Whereas the younger generation prefer to have a lot of their data scrubbed and deleted quite quick, such as Snapchat, a platform I've never actually used in my life, but I do know of it. And it was that thing where you send your message, it's visible for a few seconds and it vanishes or deletes or whatever it is. And a generation of people clung to this as a way of communicating, to have that layer of privacy attached to their conversations. And again, it's that side, isn't it? What is it that you prioritize? Is it your safety or is it your privacy? Which one's most important to you? Now, it's interesting that a different sort of side to this is WhatsApp's reaction and how they've chose to behave. Because although they've stated in the UK, if this law goes ahead, we're leaving your country. And it is kind of throwing around a little bit of weight from their end because they have such a big market here. But it's not only the UK that has these questions for WhatsApp. The debate's actually been rolling in India now for quite a while, for a couple of years at least. And they don't like it, but WhatsApp have never threatened to leave India. It might be that they have such a big market share in India that they feel sort of immune. Like they've got the hand of God that they can just control what's going to happen between the Indian laws and things like that they're not going to risk losing WhatsApp because of how much it provides to their infrastructure. But yeah, it's an interesting side that the UK is suddenly being threatened with WhatsApp will walk. And it'll be interesting to see if this bill that's made it through our Parliament, now sitting with the House of Lords, I think it's on a third reading, or approaching a third reading anyway, and then it's going to go through Royal Assent. And what adaptations will be made? What caveats are they going to put in to try and maybe keep WhatsApp in the country? Or are they just going to ignore WhatsApp and treat it as an individual thing? Like, this is what the law is, this is what we're trying to achieve, and businesses will need to adapt, which in reality is what it should be. A government and laws and everything else should be around the people of the country. It shouldn't be around, trying to keep businesses operating here if it goes against the common good. So it will definitely be interesting to see how this progresses in the coming weeks and probably months by the time it gets dragged out through all the different channels. But yeah, it's something worth thinking on, and definitely something where I think we should all clarify what our perspective is and what do we feel is right from, again, both a consumer point of view and from a corporate point of view. So how do you decide how much privacy matters? I don't know. It's something worth thinking on. I've not made my mind up yet on where exactly I sit, but it's definitely something I'll be thinking on. So I'd love to see your insights. So please drop notes in the comments. Let's have a chat. Tell me what your thoughts are. Do you think WhatsApp will leave? Do you think they'll buckle and stay? Let me know. And again, we shall see you again next week for a new episode of Wake Up CX. You have a good weekend.